creators.
We're the creators of the
and
series.
the creators and everyone else. My name's Kevin. I go by Ransack on the internet.
My name's Evan. I go by Joe Raven. And we're gonna start this off by showing you the first episode. We had planned to show you the first two, but episode 2 isn't done yet.
Which will be up within...
Mainly due to my video editor crashing on me last night in the hotel. So, yeah.
sometime next week.
I prefer within the next couple of days, because I was on
Well, yeah, I'm being generous for your sake, because you can't get it done by the con.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Oh, we haven't even started yet, and already somebody's here.
Okay, or
Yeah, no, everything's covered roses.
We got everything.
huh?
You want to get the lights now? That'd be cool.
Okay, you guys good?
Thank you.
Awesome.
If you don't mind me asking, what did you think of the Data Squad season?
I actually liked it.
I disliked it so much, it was like the only season of Digimon I didn't watch.
I personally loved it because it was more geared towards adults.
Yeah, that was what I felt with it too. It's they started that kind of trend with the end of Frontier, and they just kind of continued on into Sabers.
And well, also, what did you think of Frontier? Because that one was kind of weird for me.
Loved it.
We like it, but we also laugh at it. That's why we were bridging it.
I'm not sure what bridging means exactly. If you don't mind.
No, if you're ready for that's the rest of the panel.
Okay, cool.
Chambers is the best.
Sabers is pretty good. Yeah.
Adventure 2.
I
No,
know you like it
for the person in the room who doesn't know what a bridging is, an abridged series is just it's a parody fandom of a show. So basically, you take the show, you just rewrite the stuff, and just do your own lines over top of whatever lip sync into the episode. That's essentially the gist of it.
This is gonna be funny.
Well, yeah, we've already shown the episode, so the funny part's over. Now it's just like abridging 101.
Now we're having a serious conversation.
Unless anybody has any questions about the episode first, because we'll get to that first if you want. No one? Alright, moving on. So yeah, we were thinking about, for the rest of this panel, we're just kind of going through how to abridge sort of thing. Like our general process, if you guys are interested in that at all. Alright. Alright. Yeah, first step of the process, of course, is you gotta write it. Kind of important.
Yeah.
Yeah. In our case, it's the two of us are the writers on this project. Generally, I think we sit down in front of a computer, watch the episode, we just kind of toss jokes at it, see what sticks.
So you kind of Mystery Science Theater it?
Yeah, kind of. That's how we write. Yeah. Just sit down, throw jokes, whatever sticks ends up in the script.
Who came up with my favorite joke?
Choo-choo! Oh, that was me.
That was totally him. That was also him voicing that.
I'm the Coltrane
Yeah, we just sit down, we script it, we try and write it as close to the episode as possible, because the further you get away from what's actually happening on screen, the harder it's going to be to edit it together later. Yeah, I think that's about it for writing. And after that, you got to record all your lines. And for that, like if you want it to sound nice, you have to have decent equipment. For anyone wondering, Brent is our third member who is not here at this convention right now.
Who plays such characters as Tommy and in the future Koji.
Yeah. Play such characters as Tommy and that voice coming out of the cell phones. Yeah. He's our sound engineer, so we basically record at his house and he just sets everything up. I have very little idea of what kind of setup we have down there, but yeah, he's taken the time to send us his own little blurb on what we use and what we don't. And I have no idea what most of that says.
Well, those are obviously microphones in which we use. Like a lot of people ask, like, what kind of microphones we're using. We're using Shure Series, obviously the SM57s, 8s, F70s. for those of you who don't know what that means, I mean, if you just want to take that away from this, probably your best bet's to go to a store like Long McQuaid, and if you give them names, they'll know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, those
I
are-
see we use a lot of dynamic microphones, is what I take out of this. For recording voice is probably what you're looking at.
Well, yeah, our recording software we use is Cubase, which it is a bit more expensive and a bit more professional grade recording software, but again, he's a music major and our audio engineer, so he's already been really into this, and we're very fortunate to just happen to have a guy who's already got himself together.
Yeah.
We're very fortunate on it that we're not, all right, headset mics, let's do this.
Yeah.
That's another thing is, I mean, obviously as someone going into this, I see episode 1 as just kind of like, you know, getting all the rough patches out where you just kind of watch the episode again and again and you go, you know, it's already too late, but I feel like there's so much we can do
It's like
better about
you
this.
sit there and you look at it and you go, oh man, I screwed that up.
Oh, for sure, and it's just a learning process
There's a
for
mistake.
next time.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I did notice about the difference between our series and everyone else who wants to do Digimon Frontier as an abridged series is you have to be able to pay attention to your quality control. Because yeah, we could have just done the show on headset mics, but people are going to notice. The first thing people are going to, oh, that sounds like garbage. Like, why? Like, I don't want to sit here and listen to this for 10 minutes. So I mean, you kind of have to, if it's something that you want to invest yourself in, you need to be able to invest yourself as well as your time and money into the proper equipment to be doing this.
Yeah. And the other side of this is you got to figure out who's voicing what. Just try and figure out what the voices are going to be like for this. Most of the time we come up with that during the writing process because we already need to know like what kind of character is this and what can we voice for that.
That's just it. Going back to the writing, if we're going to talk about like how you want to go about formatting your stuff, as you probably saw, how many people are familiar with the original Digimon Frontier, watching season 4 when it was coming out? As you can see,
I've seen it twice.
we've had a couple characters that we've either taken the main aspect of them and kind of tweaked it a bit to just add this quirk, or entirely changed the dynamic of the character.
Tommy.
Like Tommy, who this very shy, shut-in kid all of a sudden becomes this very internal murderer.
The psychopathic cockney.
Yeah.
That's essentially what we're going for.
JP, who we felt was a pretty mellowed dude to begin with, so I mean, how do you kind of make him stand out about everyone else? He farts when he's nervous. When he gets really nervous and just kind of antsy about the situation, he farts. And that's his thing.
Or try to look up the Zoe skirt, apparently.
Well,
Maybe you ride on trains alone and all that.
yeah.
Yeah, you make him just this little, like, this almost a scumbag, but like, while not trying to be at the same time. Takuya, who, you know,
Oh yeah.
sure.
We're basing this off the dub, so his pronunciation
Fair enough,
isn't
sorry.
exactly the one.
In every instance of Digimon, it's the guy with the fire Digimon is the leader. But it's never been something that's been clear out established. So we kind of decided to roll with that in the regard that Takuya just kind of got it in his head. I'm the leader, and it's just like this built-up delusion that he's made for
It's
himself.
like, I don't know, it's like, I have the fire element Digimon, I'm wearing red, I have goggles, I'm totally the leader.
Well, yeah, he's very self-aware of the fact. He's just like, I'm the leader. And everyone's like, what are you talking about, dude?
Yeah.
So yeah, just stuff like that that you need
I don't
to
think we've
hear.
really introduced who does what voices for us, though.
That's what the credits were for.
Yeah.
But no, you're right.
Yeah, like in my case, I voice Takuya and Pokemon as the main things, but I also do a lot of the background stuff too.
Oh, well, yeah. We all do our fair share of the background stuff, but primarily I'm doing JP, the trains. Any Railmon that's come into circuit so far, I have done the voice
Yeah,
for.
he was both the coal train and the one with the train, and the German thing.
I like the German train.
Yeah.
I do.
You're also a name.
Yeah, Namon is my other big one. I am currently Zoe.
Yeah, if you
I
hadn't noticed.
hope to change that in the near future. But as it
It's
stands,
so well.
I know I'm just spot on with it, but it was a regard of like, really want to get this done and we really want to have this and it's going to be a lot, and we're getting it ready, we're writing it, and it's just,
We don't have a woman on.
Who's voicing Zoe?
And then we don't have a woman on.
Three guys sitting in a room. All right, do your girl voice.
Yeah,
No, I don't like that.
was
Okay,
essentially
girl
the
voice.
process, yeah.
So,
That was exactly
out
the
of these
process.
three very not-girl voices, I was the best one. If that puts to your imagination
Yeah.
how bad the others were.
In my case, mine got turned down because it was actually kind of really creepy.
Oh.
I'll do my British drag queen.
Like, you may hear it later on another character. Just say.
Maybe on.
Just say you might hear it later.
Yeah,
I think that about covers it for recording. Any questions anybody has about that process? No?
How do you mix like the original like music with the actual tracks on top?
In my case, for the most part, I have to flat out mute the episode beginning to put our lines over top of it, and then I've got to throw in sound effects and music on top of that. Generally, I actually do have a copy of the Frontier soundtrack, so I can throw that in over top wherever I see fit. However, in a lot of cases, it doesn't really fit what we're doing with it anymore. So I have to draw from other places too.
Yeah. The one thing you should do is just put Hey Digimon over every single fight scene.
That would be really applies in a lot of cases. Yeah.
This isn't really nothing to do with what you're saying, but I just want to throw this out there anyway. But the soundtrack to the movie, which I know sucked, and I'm talking about the actual CD that was for sale. My friend's band was on that.
Oh, cool.
They were called Summer Camp with a song called Nowhere Near. And honestly, it kind of fits the show if you get a chance to check it out.
Alright. Well, anyways, I guess we move on to the editing. Yeah. That's all me. Yeah, so arguably the harder part about this whole series is editing everything together. As you can probably imagine, timing the lines to what the mouth movements are in the show. That takes a lot of in detail editing. I have to drop frame by frame and just make sure the lips are moving properly. Aside from that, it's not terribly. I've been doing this for a long time, so I'm used to it for the most part. Lip syncing, that episode was actually my very first time actually doing any lip syncing. Yeah. No, the guy who initially showed me how to do video editing back in high school taught me the basic theory behind it. I never actually had anything to practice with. So this happened, and I was like, okay, I think I remember how to do this. And it's kind of learning from there. But yeah, for the actual show, I'm using a combination of Abridged Studios, which really good program. Seems to be a professional standard these days. And also Adobe After Effects, which in certain cases I just have to export what I'm using into that and just fiddle with things a little, make it look nicer.
I feel incredibly fortunate on this project because it was a matter of all I brought to it in the beginning was a concept where I just kind of go, all right, I really want to do this series. So you right, I'm going to do this with you, and we're sitting there and we go, shoot, we're going to need someone to do the lip syncing. And I happen to know how to do that. It was just very random.
It's like,
okay,
I totally know.
that's cool. So I mean, if you got someone that knows how to do it, that only benefits you as opposed to spending the hours it would probably take to learn it. And then again, we need somewhere and someone to help us record everything. Oh, hey, my best friend is this audio engineer.
With a sound recording studio in his basement.
Yeah, whose basement is a recording studio. We're just kind of I've got a 3-man crew, including myself, and every role just seemed to kind of, there you go, make a show with this.
It just kind of happened.
But yeah.
Yeah. But lip syncing can be difficult at times. I don't know if you guys can actually see what's wrong with that picture from here.
His mouth isn't open.
His mouth is half open, but it's also overlapping his nose. Yeah, this is actually just a quick little thing from episode 2, which I'm in the process of editing. There's a scene right near the beginning of the episode where 4 seconds of animation kind of took me 2 hours to put together properly. If that kind of explains the amount of time this takes. It was actually a portion of Tuppy is running while he's talking. So not only is his mouth moving, but his head is in 3 different positions over the course of the screen. So I have to make it him consistently running, but I also have to match the lip movement. So I also have to like fiddle around with it and move the mouth into the right position. And sometimes that kind of occurred right off the bat. There are weirder ones. There was one where his mouth was over where his eye was. Just had to reposition that. It's difficult sometimes. But yeah, that's literally frame. I've got that zoomed into like a frame by frame basis on that. So that's total on screen of about maybe 2 seconds total. You can actually see there.
This is why I donated.
Yeah. So if you see all the little cuts in there, that's about how much detail I have to go into. So it's a lot of work. The editing is quite possibly the longest, most time-consuming part of the whole process.
That's just it. Like, we broke down the time it takes to do an episode. We had it down to like.
Would it take us like 5 hours to write and record this?
I was gonna say
so too.
Writing and recording and just like kind of going over everything, like fine-tuning stuff, is roughly 5 hours per episode. And
then
what
the
do you
editing
spend on
maybe.
editing?
Oh, jeez. Like I said,
I lost track after.
So if your personal
I lost track
life,
after a
and
while.
stuff.
No. Episode 2 has taken me entirely too long.
It's
It's the thing where I was like, I could totally have it done for today, and last night my video editor crashed on me in the middle. And then it wouldn't reopen. So I had, my file was saved, nothing was lost. But for whatever reason, after it crashed, my video editor refused to open again. And it was 4:30 in the morning, and I was like, okay. I'm done for the night. It's like, I'm done for the night. This isn't happening today. Yeah. But yeah, episode 2 should be out within the next couple days, I hope. Unless I open up my video editor and find that everything's gone all of a sudden now.
oh yeah, isn't that what delayed us the first time?
Yeah, that was one of our first delays. Like I almost had it done for Enemy North. And then that totally didn't happen because apparently my source file was corrupted and it just screwed the whole thing.
You were like pretty close.
I
to
was
the
actually fairly almost done there and then just nope.
entire episode.
Like your source file is corrupted. And
Luckily, it didn't happen again this time.
yeah, I know. Well, no, just the source file. Apparently, it was corrupted the entire time, and I had noticed that something was causing like little issues here and there, but I was kind of ignoring it. Then I got to this one scene where I guess that was where like the actual corruption in the video was, and I got there and it just refused to cooperate at all. And I had to go out and I had to get a new source file for the episode, and unfortunately the only one I could find that worked was completely different aspect ratio. So I literally had to go back and I had to redo the entire episode.
Oh man, sucks.
Yeah. So yeah, unless the crashing of my video editor last night completely screwed me over.
So I mean,
But
again, if you're going into this sort of thing, trials and tribulations
Yeah.
that do happen,
Crap will
you kind
happen.
of need to kind of grit your teeth and
It-
just kind
it's-
of
yeah.
decide how bad you want this project.
Indeed. Alright, and yeah, aside from that, just, I guess promoting your episodes is the only other thing. I don't actually have a slide for that, but speaking of promotions. Yeah, speaking of promoting things.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you gotta kind of do what you can. Like, I mean, it is hard being small and being overshadowed and being just someone else on the internet. I mean, there's different ways you can kind of, and I guess people can kind of determine your dedication as to how much effort you're willing to put into something. Because like I said, how many different times am I going to go on YouTube and find 20 other people doing Digimon Frontier Abridged? But sure, but I don't know any of them, and I've never heard of any of them.
And most of them
Up
only
to
ever
a
got
point.
5 episodes in before giving it up.
Where it's like, well, what are some things you could do? Well, stuff like, we're going to premiere our show. Where are we going to do it? Youmacon. Why? Because that's what all the abridgers are.
Yeah.
Hey, this
That
just,
happened.
we were going to promote it anyway. Just so happens there's an abridging contest. Who's judging it? Little Karibo, Team 4-Star, Anthony Fisher. oh, hey, that's a foot.
Let's totally just enter our first episode into that contest.
Yeah.
Have it played on a big screen and judged by the pros.
In front of a bunch of people.
In front of
So,
yeah,
I mean,
exactly. It was like,
what
hey,
you do?
second. I think.
Not first?
Yeah, not first. I think we were second.
Yeah.
Like the guys who actually
Oh.
yeah, the guys who actually won did another One Piece Abridged, but watching the episode, we got more laughs out of the audience.
Which I thought was the weird, like.
I know. Is it the audience was totally laughing
They had
louder
the
for
judges
ours than they
though,
were.
right?
Yeah, they weren't the judges, but I totally saw when I watched the One Piece Abridged, I saw like the way they were using like their tech, and I was like, okay, they want over on like tech use, and Little ConBravo totally be able to just pick that out. And I'm just like, okay, that's what they need us on. Yeah. So yeah, aside from that, we handed out flyers.
Yeah, we had a big stack of flyers that we were just handing out, hey, we're gonna be here at this time, check us out with all our information on it. So I
Yeah,
mean,
advertising the contest is
Paper
awesome.
campaign.
Yeah, paper
the
campaign.
free paper campaign.
Free paper. That was literally our advertising.
Yeah, because
slogan.
they asked me to help out, and I was
Like one of our friends out of Florida was up at Yomicon with us, and he was in the lineup with us, and we just had this thing going where we had stacks of these flyers, and we were just passing them out, and he'd just be running around and yelling, "Free paper!" And people would just take it.
It's funny though, because like I didn't even see that as a thing, like a realistic idea that someone may appease to, where I'm sitting there trying to pitch myself, and I'm just going, like, do you know what abridging is? Do you like Digimon? And this guy is just like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing, man? Grabs a stack, free paper! Who wants, there's paper, there might be stuff on it! And everyone's like, can I have one? And
Yeah,
it's just like, I was just like,
this stuff works. That's all it is.
advertising a bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, aside from that, I guess you go to like the abridging forums or whatnot, and just whatever other places you can find online, just kind of try and advertise your episodes or whatnot.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have anything else you want to
That's literally all I got right now. I can't think of anything.
Super sweet. Well, we've got like 20 minutes. If
Do we?
wanna,
You guys have like had any questions
questions,
at all?
comments,
Bridging in general.
feedback, anything.
Like any questions about a bridge series, our series, somebody else's series, I don't know. Like how things are done, just any questions at all, yes.
How'd you take the mouths off for the lip syncing? Did you just go through the episode, or?
In the actual thing, I usually try and take them out from that exact same scene right there, so I don't like try and overlap a mouth from a different spot over top, because that does not look nice. I usually try and what I do is I find, well, it depends on the show, but in the case of Digimon Frontier, as I've looked at the animation, they got their mouth, they do their lip syncing with 3 separate mouth positions. So they always have like there's a position where it's completely closed, one where it's half open, one where it's fully open. That's all it is. So you just gotta kind of match between depending on your line. So generally, depending on how the scene is set up, like there's an easy way and there's the hard way. The easy way is if the character's not moving at all and the background isn't moving, you can literally just take the frame, those 3 frames, just isolate 3 different separate frames of
And then just
that character with the 3 mouth movements and just rearrange them. It will not look any different than the actual episode. However, if the background is moving around, or
Running.
or the characters moving, or you want them blinking because it's a really long line and you want them to not have their eyes just wide open all the time, or they're doing something with their hands while they're talking, or there's somebody else moving in the background, which has happened. Is this nice little moment like in the second episode where literally I edited, so at first I just edited so the guy was speaking. And meanwhile, there's this other guy in the background who looks like he's having a seizure because he's moving around. And so, what you do with that is, I then Abbott has a wonderful little function where you can just take the multiple layers and crop. So I took here's him talking, and this whole thing, the guy's having a seizure in the little back and off to the side. So I just took the actual scene that I took that from, cropped the one side so that guy could move and just look like he was moving normally off to the side while everything else is playing. So it just overlapped and it just does that. Same thing with the mouths. I will do what I usually take the three different frames of the guy talking, 3 different mouth positions. I will put that over And then I will put the crop effect on, so I select only the mouth, and then I will literally just position that over top and just do the lip syncing over top. So the mouth from those individual frames now is covering over the mouth in the actual scene. Sure you can. Does that answer your question? Okay. And so that does take a lot more effort when you're using the crop function though. Right? Anyone else? Any other questions?
Raven, put on the red ones.
No.
Can you put on the red ones?
I don't know, they look tiny.
That didn't stop me.
Not even. The things don't even reach the back of my ears.
Didn't stop me.
Good point. Your head bigger.
Shut up. It's true about this shit.
Okay. Just absolutely anything anybody wants to ask about bridging at all. Just
Feedback?
in general.
Comments?
Feedback on our episode even, for those who were here to see it. You liked it? Good.
There's more.
Yeah, there's more.
I like how Zoe spoke Italian. I thought that was well done.
That's the thing.
It's like, whoa, Italian.
You got like 5 minutes? Or?
No.
Oh, okay.
Regarding gaping gaps and reproducing any series that you're just, I haven't really done that yet.
Really, it's I think that's kind of a fine balance for picking your series there. I mean, all the really popular series obviously have like 50 million different people trying to bridge them. But at the same time, the only ones I know of that really just don't are all the really obscure titles. But if you're abridging that, you're not going to get much of an audience either because nobody's ever heard of it. Why am I going to watch an abridged series?
And that was the thing when I first started this was Youmacon 2011 that I even wanted to start this project.
And we didn't get it off the ground until 2012.
It took a while.
Yeah.
But the point being, like, I was thinking about it and I went, well, I've got two ideas in my head. I want to do Digimon, or I had in my head for whatever reason to want to do Death Note. And someone was like,
And someone in the
you
back,
gotta find out.
you said it in front of little Karibo. You were saying, I want to do like one of the above. Like, what do you think? And then somebody in the background kind of screamed out, oh, you have to do Frontier.
Yeah. Like,
And it was like, okay,
because
let's go
I was
there.
like, if you want to do a show like Death Note, you really gotta know how you can make that funny.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of those shows where it's just kind of like,
How
that's you changing
like,
the
how
atmosphere
do you
completely.
mess with that? I mean, Frontier, especially with the dub, which we're kind of using as the base
Yeah.
here. Frontier makes fun of itself.
And that was the thing, was like, I want to do Digimon. Well, I really like Frontier, that one's my favorite. It just happens to make fun of itself.
A lot.
So, I mean,
Like,
I kind of took that as...
That line in episode 2 where Pokemon and Amon are introducing themselves. Like, this is an actual line from the dub of the series. No lie. Pokemon introduced himself. He's like, my name is Pokemon, keeper of the book. I'm Namon, keeper of my pants. And we're just sitting there like,
Like, what are you gonna do with that?
Big red likes fire, not Santa Claus.
yeah, if you remember that line, like that. Let's see here, big red likes flame, not Santa Claus. That's an actual line from the show. We just lifted that directly. That wasn't.
Because I was like, that's ridiculous. That needs to go in.
That's ridiculous enough that we don't even need to change it.
I just honestly looked up and realized, oh, I was talking with them serious now.
Yeah. What was that other thing? The castle later on. Like we were watching that episode while we were trying to get ideas for what to do, and it was just that castle, just Taki and Koji going towards the castle, and Tommy's like getting after something, he's in there, and they're going up, and Koji's like, man, that castle looks ominous. How can it be ominous? It's fuchsia. It's like stuff like that. It's like, you know, this series makes fun of itself enough that we don't need to do work that hard to find jokes. So we can just go for
So
it.
yeah, it is this combination of, can I make it funny? And like, am I gonna enjoy doing it? Because I probably wouldn't have had this much fun doing Death Note, just because I would have felt it
We would've been working too
more
hard trying to make
work
jokes.
than fun.
Yeah.
Which I mean is just trying to find that comfortable balance between both, I guess. But yeah, just kind of do what you like, but make sure it's kind of in the right light.
Also, continuing with your earlier thing, as much as I say, yeah, like abridging a very obscure title, is not gonna get as much popularity. However, at the same time, I do know a fair number of people who started watching various series because they saw an abridged series they liked. Like, I know I have a friend who got into JoJo's Bizarre Adventure just because she saw Ann Fish's JoJo Abridged.
There's an abridged of that?
Yes! Ann Fisher does a lot of stuff with Team 4-Star. He abridged JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh, wow.
What else does he do that apparently is more popular than JoJo that I'm supposed to know?
Honestly, all I'm aware of is JoJo. I know he did voices in Journey Down,
Oh, okay.
which is on sale on Steam.
Because like,
Very
yeah,
simple.
it's like, because they're like, Ant Fish, who's known for this and that, and I was like, you did JoJo
Yeah,
Abridged.
I know JoJo, and I know he does a lot of voices for Team 4-Star.
Yeah.
Well, see British. Aside from that, I'm not sure of a lot of the other stuff he does.
I did not know, and I found this out at YomaCon in 2012. He's from Toronto.
Yeah,
That was interesting.
he's
Yeah.
local.
So that was interesting. And kind of like good for me because it was one of those things where I was just kind of like, especially you look at like YouTubers where it's like you got to be in New York. Why? Because that's the place where YouTubers are, and that's how you kind of make it for yourself.
Really?
YouTube, no, New York or LA.
Yeah,
Sure,
it's
one
They,
of
they
the-
kind of, they're kind of between the two.
Well,
New York or LA, they're all kind of there.
it's like Ant Fish being one of my favorite abridgers, I was just kind of like, he's right next door. Like, why can't we be doing this? And that's the kind of thing is you start it, and you've got a real bad case of the, well, never will, but it's just kind of, you gotta pick yourself up and go,
Well, it may not
I'm
be-
doing this
Yeah.
because I want to, it's gonna be fun, and I'm, doing it to have others enjoy it. And
Yes,
if no
because-
one wants to enjoy it, well then,
Because you kind of have to enjoy it too, because you're never gonna make any money off an abridged
As long
series.
as you enjoy creating
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's something that you have to enjoy to do.
for sure.
Due to various copyright issues,
Yeah.
you will never make money off an abridged series. Do not try. It's not gonna end well for you.
T-shirts.
Oh, okay, that's something. But that's not like a living, that's just like,
New, I'm the leader t-shirt, I know. I just want to die.
yeah. But yeah, is there anything else at all?
We got like 10 minutes, but
Yeah.
we don't need it.
Nobody else has any questions or comments or anything? Closing comments? Yeah,
Check us out.
follow us on, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook.
Keep you posted as
It'll
we're
keep you
episode
posted.
2,
Because episode 2 should be up like within the week.
especially with episode 1 so fresh in your minds.
Yes.
And you can check out the trailer that we made for the show.
The trailer that we posted
Do you have
initially.
the trailer?
I don't think I have the trailer on.
Oh, the trailer was so great.
The trailer that wasn't online for ages because it got taken down really fast.
Copyright.
Really?
Just, it's only recently that we noticed that whoever put the copyright claim on it took it away. So now it's back up online all of a sudden, and it's perfectly fine, works everywhere except mobile devices. I don't understand myself. We got called by some, I think it was like Sony Music.
Yeah.
It's like whoever does Daft Punk.
Well,
Like whoever produces Daft Punk, honestly.
I don't know if it's Sony or AMG.
Yeah, it's one of the above. They called copyright on that video really fast because we were kind of making a Tron joke with it. And so we were using a little bit of the background music, which apparently was very much copyrighted for.
Well, yeah, I know YouTube has like an automatic
Yeah.
filter with that.
I in the back of our mind, I think we figured Tron's old enough that, the music from it's probably, able to be used, but I guess apparently not.
Yeah, YouTube has that like completely
Yeah, it's
crazy.
Well,
filter.
it wasn't until, was it like CDM?
Yeah.
Okay.
this is the trailer for Tron Legacy.
Which is Disney too, right? That was a Disney.
Yeah, but it wasn't, we didn't get zapped by Disney that much, I know.
I don't think it was because it was Jeff Bridges talking about the grid, getting into the grid,
Yeah,
therefore I
it was
thought
the
it was the
grid
original.
first.
Legacy.
Oh, okay.
That was the Legacy trailer.
Oh, okay, that's why. I was under the impression that was from the original.
Oh. Well, now you know.
Now I know.
How do you not know that? You
Now-
worked on it, damn it.
How do I not know that? I edited the trailer. I don't know.
Yeah, alright.
Basically, yeah, we used a little music from that. It's just, yeah. But hey, it's up.
Back up.
It's up. But it's
Back to the
working.
initial thought. Yeah, watch out with copyright. Make sure you credit everybody that
Yeah.
needs the
Credit
credit.
everybody.
I don't know.
Always a disclaimer.
Yeah. So.
Unless you're taking stuff from freesound.org, in which case it's all free.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. Keep in touch.
Yeah.
Be on Twitter and Facebook. Just kind of.
Keeping you up to date about the episode.
For sure.
Yay.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your con, everybody.
Yeah, enjoy your con.